going? I'm your boy, Nicky, with a kid. Now when you yawn, doesn't that sound like you're having an orgasm? I don't know. But anyways, today I thought I'd like to talk to you guys about high school. Now high school sucks, right? Well, at least it did for me. But you know, my high school experience was very, very traumatizing, right? Because all the teachers used to love to pick on me, right? I don't know why they used to like to pick on me. I just had this look about me for some reason. They always used to look at me and think I was always up to no good, you know? They used to look at me and they used to just hate me, you know? They used to just look at me and think, this kid, he's just got a look where I can't teach this kid anything because he just pisses me off, you know? But anyways, it was pretty much all the teachers at my high school. But in particular, it was my PE teacher, Mr. Berman, right? This guy was the biggest asshole you'd ever meet. This guy was the type of teacher, he'd wear his little shorts, his polo shirt, and be like, hey Mike, you better get over that finish line right now. Because if I get over there before you do, I'm gonna dig you a fresh grave. And I'm just looking at him. As a kid, I'm thinking, what to think of this, right? And he'd be strict and he'd yell at all the other kids, hey Miller, you better do 10 more push-ups because if I get over there, I'm gonna flunk you for the rest of the year. And everyone else here. So, you know, when he used to say that shit, we knew he meant business. But why did he have to be such an asshole, right? He was so loving and caring to the girls. Tina, Michelle, great job. Sit there and look beautiful. That's it. Good girls. Very good. He didn't have a smile on his face, right? This guy was an angry guy, right? I think because these gym teachers, because they can't become proper teachers, they become gym teachers, right? So, and having said that, this guy was probably sexually deprived. His wife probably never had sex with him for like 50 years because he was always angry, right? I never knew why he was angry. I guess he always just had those blue balls, you know? You know, because wearing those little shorts, it cut off the circulation to his nuts, hence the word blue balls. But one particular time, I came late to school because I was, every day, you know, you'd wake up, you'd take a shit, and every morning you'd wake up, you'd always have to take a shit, right? I don't know, that's how your body works. So, get up, I play Space Invaders on my phone while taking a shit. I wouldn't have breakfast, I'd rush off to school, and I'd knock on the door, and I'd be eating a bag of peanuts, right, this one time. And this was history class, the first lesson of the day, right? And the history teacher opens the door, Mr. Stone. He was a bold cunt. He was pretty tall. He was a scary teacher. He looked like Hannibal Lecter, right? This guy was a psychotic. I could see it in his eyes. He was always angry, right? He would look at me. Who are you? You've got no business here. You came late to school. Now sit down! So I'd sit down, eating my nuts. And he'd be telling the class about the history of Australia, and I'd tell him, I'd put my hand up to tell him the answer to a question, and he'd be like, does anyone know? Does anyone know? And he didn't want me to answer that question because this guy hated me for coming late, but I was the only one that knew that. And so he didn't want to let his pride down, right? So he says, all right. He says, who are you? He walks up to me, and I'm eating my peanuts. I'm like, yeah? It's like, you got no business here. And he's looking at me. Now give me the fucking peanuts! And he snatches them off me and they go everywhere. He's like, these peanuts are good. He puts them on his desk and I'm just there and peanuts flew everywhere. And I'm like, give me the nuts? I'm like, is this guy serious? And he had a vein popping out of his head. He always had this one vein popping out of his head. He was the angriest teacher you'd ever meet. He was what nightmares are made up of. But anyways, cut a long story short, my grandfather told me, never take shit from anyone in school. Never ever take shit from anyone in school. But I used to take shit from absolutely every single one there. The only shit I never took was the ones in the toilets there. Because the school toilets were absolutely filthy, you know. There'd be water everywhere. There'd be a sandwich flushed down the toilet. There'd be a shit in the toilet that's flushed. There'd be kids in there smoking. There'd be kids in there ditching class. And I'd be in there trying to take a shit while there are kids peeking over the cubicle. Oh, hey, what are you doing? Or kids looking through the cracks. Oh, this guy's taking a shit. How embarrassing. You know, you can't take a shit in peace at school, you know. That's one thing I realized going to school those years. And, you know, I was never a troublemaker. I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, too many times. But anyways, you know, school was tough for me. School was very tough. But I used to love art class because I could go into art class and I could draw a smiley face and I get an A+ for it, right? Because I had an artsy teacher, which to her, everything was art, you know? I'd walk into class one day, I'd forgotten all about the assignment. On my way to school, I'd draw a smiley face in my book, boom, give it to the teacher, A+, right? Because this smiley face is beautiful. The way, the abstractness of it all, it is absolutely gorgeous. So I'd be like, thanks. But little did she know that I was up late last night watching the football. So yeah. And every time I get in trouble, the teachers would say to me, you don't go, huh? You don't go, huh? You don't go, huh? If I'd say, huh? What does that mean? You don't go, huh? That's what they say to me. You say pardon. Or they go to me, I beg your pardon. You don't put up your hand like that. Or they'd say to me, you know, words like, goodness gracious me. You know, they say shit like that. You know, and also they'd also say the good old line if you talk back to a teacher. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? It's been going on for like 3 hours. How dare you? But I could say the worst trouble I had ever gotten into was in the 12th grade, and this was 12th grade math class, and yeah, we had this new teacher, and like always, at the start of the year, we'd get a new teacher, but this teacher was new to the whole school, right? But he'd come into the class and he'd make a good, long-lasting impression on us. He'd slam his briefcase down, boom! His name was Mr. Stiles, he was a Greek teacher. I don't know his real name, but let's use that name for this video. And he'd introduce himself to us, and for some reason he was always drenched in sweat under his arms, sweat. It was like he just jumped into a pool. He was so wet, you know, bald head, had a mustache, and he'd be like, if you show me respect, I'll show you respect back. If you're fair to me, I'll be fair to you. But if you misbehave or stuff up, I'm gonna send you right down to the principal's office, right? So I was like, okay, this guy was very strict, right? He never showed weakness once. I never saw a softer side to him, right? And every time he'd come in class, boom, slammed the briefcase down. And one particular day, it was mid-year, right? We were learning about square roots, and I was sitting in the back of the class trying to learn this. And just because I was sitting at the back of the class, he chose me to solve this equation that he had on the whiteboard, right? And just because I was sitting in the back of the class, he thought I was up to no good, right? So he calls me up in front of the whole class, and he calls me by my surname, because if it wasn't embarrassing enough, calling me out in front of everyone there, he wants to call me by my surname to give me that little piece of dignity that I still have. He wants me to be, he wants me to give me that little piece of dignity, right? So yeah, he says, Mr. Papadopoulos, do you know the answer to this equation that I've clearly written on the board for you? And I was looking at it, I did not know the answer, right? It was like I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I did not know the answer. I was scratching my head. What do I say? Everyone's looking at me. He's got these crazy eyes, right? He was looking right at me. He's like, come on, I don't have all day here. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And for some reason, it's like, I just blurted out, you know, is it your wife's phone number? And he's like, he just drops the, I think it was the text that he had. Get out of the class now! Anyways, I'm your boy Mickey the Kid. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more videos from my channel. Hope you all have a great holiday and have a good night. Peace!